Hey there, it's Michael. Welcome back and thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to do a video about a favorite band of mine, the Scottish indie pop band Belle Sebastian. I recently picked up a cool reissue of their debut album and thought I'd do a video about the band. And here is the release in question. This is Tigermilk from 1966. As you might notice on the hype sticker here, it is part of the Rough Trade 50 series. And so that is celebrating the 50th anniversary of Rough Trade. And that is Rough Trade, the shops, not the label, because the shop started before the label started. But anyways, celebrating Rough Trade shops, and they are releasing some special versions of albums to celebrate. And this is one of them. As the hype sticker says, this was released 21 of 50. And it is softly shuffling indie pop. On Tigermilk, Belle Sebastian sketch out a world both fragile and quietly defiant, setting the blueprint for everything that followed. And yeah, so this came out 30 years ago, and I'm happy to say the band is still going strong. And this is a really cool reissue. It is on, if I get it out here, a lovely pink vinyl, and it sounds great, by the way. It also comes with a 7-inch single that features some unreleased tracks. I wouldn't say they're lost classics, but it's pretty cool to have. So you get a bonus 7-inch and a nice sleeve. And what I really enjoyed, you also get a full color zine, which is really great and really informative. Sometimes these aren't so great or add that much to the album experience, but this tells the story of the forming of the band and the making of this record. It has illustrations and some lyrics and great photos, and it's an interesting story. So the deal with this album is it was the project of a music business class at a college. And so it was a music business course, and as part of it, the final project was creating an actual release. And in this case, the band insisted on it being a vinyl album. This came out, I think, 500 copies. Word got around, it became a sensation, and it's kind of a legendary release. So the originals are very expensive. I've never seen one, but I've had friends who had them. So, but for a debut, this is an excellent record. If you know about the band, they're really focused on songwriting, and with their main man, Stuart Murdoch, who writes most of the songs, has a wonderful lyrical perspective, and loves 60s pop and 70s pop, and this is definitely indie, but it's got great arrangements and like I said, wonderful lyrics, and it's the kind of stuff that people can get really passionate about. So that is the first album, and that's not how I encountered the band. Like I said, that was pretty hard to get, but they came back pretty soon after, got a record deal in the UK with Jeepster Records, and they released their follow-up album. And I'm going to show you some CDs because I don't have these on vinyl, but I think I'll be looking for them. And this is the classic If You're Feeling Sinister. This is from 1997. This is actually a promo copy, US promo, from a short-lived label called The Enclave that came and went. But this is definitely an indie rock, indie pop, a classic. Every song on here is great. Stars Track and Field, Seeing Other People, Dylan in the Movies, Fox in the Snow, Judy and the Dream of Horses, the title track. So I'd say if you want to check out this band, this is one to check out. And also, Tigermilk as well was a great debut album, really good songs as well. And then they continued, and what they did next was released a series of EPs. Again, here are the CDs. And these are all great. And they could have turned this into an album, but they did 3 separate CDs with 4 songs each. The first one is Dog on Wheels. It has that track. Also a great track, The State I Am In, which is a different version than the one on the debut record. String Bean Jean is another great song. Then we have one of my favorites, Lazy Lion Peter Jane. The title track here is tremendous. They're trying to go for a big kind of Phil Spector wall of sound production, and the thing builds and builds and builds, and it's just a great track. Was always a fan of it. You Made Me Forget My Dreams, Photo Jenny. It's a great release. And the final EP of that year, 369 Seconds of Light. Another wonderful one, A Century of Fakers, La Pastille de la Bourgeoisie, beautiful. So great stuff. And at the time, to show you how much I was into the band, I made this cassette with the If You're Feeling Sinister album and these EPs on it. And I guess really channeling into the twee vibe that they used to have. And I tried to play this cassette a couple weeks back for nostalgia reasons, and it snapped, so no big loss, but that would have been cool. And then they continued. They ended up getting a deal with Matador Records in the US, and that is the label they're still on in the US. They came back with this album in 1998, The Boy with the Arab Strap. It's another good album. It's different. There are other members of the band. I didn't mention there's usually, 6 or 7 members in the band. There's horns, there's flute, there's guitar, there's keyboards. So they have a very full sound, and they have other members singing on this one. And it's another strong album. It could have been A Brilliant Career, Sleep the Clock Around, The Roller Coaster Ride, the last song I really love. And as you'll notice with these albums, they have a distinct visual look with their album covers, kind of like the Smiths. There's a picture and usually with a different, wash of color on it. And unlike the Smiths having celebrities, these are, friends and models and sometimes band members. And then the next one I have is another EP. This is from '99, I think. This is Just a Modern Rock Song. And as you'll notice here, I kept a ticket stub from the first time I saw them. And this is from the Wiltern Theater. And I was a little struck because the date is September 6th, 2001. So, basically less than a week before, the world entirely changed. But I have to say, I remember the show. It was an excellent show. Like I said, the band was kind of, hushed, indie pop, but live, it was a totally different story. They came on like a Scottish soul review, and it was energetic and life-affirming, and it was so great to see them. And then continue with a couple CDs before we get to some more vinyl here. This is the album where they kind of lost me for a while, from 2000. Fold Your Hands, Child, You Walk Like a Peasant. This is a promo CD from Matador Records. I was on their list at the time, was doing music reviews. So I got sent this one, and I guess it was a hot enough release that my name was written on both the package and the CD itself, so I couldn't sell it. And anyways, this is, I'd say it's a continuation on from the last album, but not as strong. It, kind of sounds like they weren't into it. And I guess during this, they've said in interviews that there was some band turmoil and troubles going on at the time. But there's still some good songs on here. I think The Wrong Girl is a great one. The last one, There's Too Much Love. So So yeah, not my favorite, but you know, and after this, I kind of lost interest in the band and I wasn't so fervent about them. But a couple more releases that I do have on CD. This is their soundtrack to the movie Storytelling, the Todd Solondz movie, and it's good. I mean, it shows them that they can do you know, nice instrumentals. I wouldn't say this is a really a necessary album in their catalog, but you know, still nice to have. And then the final CD I have, this is from 2003, Dear Catastrophe Waitress. This was a bit of a comeback for them. It is more energetic, and the songwriting is more focused. Also of interest is it's produced by Trevor Horn. I guess one of his kids was a fan of the band and he got interested in producing them. But unlike those incredible 1980s Trevor Horn productions like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and ABC, you know, this just sounds like a very well produced album from these guys. And that's kind of where I left off with CDs, and I'm just recently getting interested in the band again and checking out their later stuff. Like I said, they're still around and have released new stuff as recent as a couple of years ago. So here's what I have of their later stuff on vinyl. This is kind of heavy. This is from 2014. This is Girls in Peacetime Want to Dance. And this is a box set of that album. So what they did is they added some extra tracks to the album, and they turned it into 4 separate EPs basically. And there are some songs on here that definitely have an electronic kind of a dance vibe to them. So those are on side 1 of the EPs and Spin at 45. And then the kind of more regular Belle Sebastian songs are on the flip side, and those spin at 33. It's kind of a hassle to play, but I think there's some really good stuff on this. I don't know if it got the best reviews, but there's some really strong songs. Nobody's Empire is a great one. The Party Line. You know, I heard a couple songs at the time and went out and grabbed this. It wasn't that much. I think, you know, it sold under expectations. So, you know, this box set can be had definitely for under $20 these days, which is nice. And bringing it up to the last album I have, which is their most recent studio album, Late Developers. This is from 2022. And this is another strong album. It's very much, you know, very much has a 70s pop vibe to it. A lot of it is upbeat. There's a song on here that sounds exactly like a cross between Cat Stevens and Donovan. So there's a very 70s vibe to this, but great melodies and great lyrics. So I will be looking to fill in the gaps with these guys and get some of their other albums that I don't have at all on vinyl, and maybe some of my early favorites on vinyl as well. So that's what I've got for today, but thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you later.